to get me to my first track day, I maybe put $600 into it.
That's it?
I could sell it, buy a 350Z, and just get out there on track. I did it.
Just selling that car alone funded the entire...
Yeah.
Run through the most common issue you had with that car.
I have never told this story. I ran that car for the last year of its life doing this weird thing where it would cut power. Hardest issue was I never could pinpoint when it was happening. But what it was you know, I saw people going out there and buying $2,000 350Zs and putting maybe $1,000 into it and having more
just
seat
watch
time.
Brennan do it right in front of you.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, that was the blueprint, right? Because he bought a $2,000 Z or whatever. And
Dude, I swear to God, it was just a domino effect.
It was. The day that I rode with him, I was like, because, just like you, just like a lot of people, I was in the stance car scene before this. And the second I rode with him and I realized how much money he had versus how much fun he was having versus how much money I had in my stance car, so to speak, bag, very expensive 3-piece wheels.
Only so much fun you can have in this.
To go to a show and park and walk around and then what then? I don't know. So yeah, I sold that car and
So how'd you find the Z then?
Well, I was on Facebook for a long time, and I found it. It was about 4 hours away, but it was a good deal, and the guy just needed money.
Wasn't it like totaled in the rear or something?
It was wrecked in the rear, but it was a clean title. And
lucky bastard.
Yeah, man. It's and you to find that kind of deal today you couldn't. And it's just like the 240 stigma. It's just like anything else. It doesn't exist nowadays, which is horrible, but
yeah. I saw a G35 coupe actually today on Facebook Marketplace that was like 5 different colors. I think it had over 200,000 miles on it. Barely fucking ran, dude. He had a list of shit that was wrong with it, and still was asking like $4 or $5 grand for it. I was like, how does that make sense?
It's insane. But yeah, I guess deals are still out there. It's just they're just really hard to come by, and I got lucky with that one. Plus, it was like I said in 2018, and I bought it. And to get me to my first track day, I maybe put $600 into it.
That's it.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Because I bought 2 extra wheels. Put the rack spacers, the little spacer you put on the tie rods.
Yeah.
Just like super minimal stuff.
Take the bump stops out.
I think I may have had I think I did have a handbrake. Yeah, I think I did have a handbrake. So I put a dual caliper kit on it just right off the rip because I knew I was going to eventually.
That's what I did.
Yeah, so I just spent the money for that. That's where most of the money came from, actually. But yeah, and like after that first trip day, I had fallen in love, and because like I said, that S14, I bought that as a caged shell and built it up all the way up. And like I said, I was really close to having it going. I just never could do it. So the second that I could sell it, buy a 350Z, and just get out there on track, I did it. And
just selling that car alone funded the entire
because
the
the time between when I bought that S14 shell and when it was a roller with a motor not running, the price had, I made good money on that because of the price hike. And so that's how that worked out, which was good. But that 350Z, I mean, as you know, me and you both, we painted our cars at the same time. Mm-hmm. We were 350Z dudes for a while. I mean, that 350Z, that taught me so much more about drifting than probably anything else. I mean, I eventually, it became a full caged car and with Fab and everything. And my wife, Alex, she drifted it for a while and she hopped in it and did great.
She ended up buying that thing from you.
Yeah. And so she drifted it for a while, and that was a great car, honestly. And
why did she end up getting out of it?
Tire cost. Yeah, man. Just let you know.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, tire cost.
Awesome.
I told her, I was like, hey, it's not cheap, but she knew that going in, but I think she just didn't realize.
She just wanted a taste of it, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
See if she was even worth it.
And I mean, now we got to do the whole we showed up to Beach Bend was the track where we both showed up. I was in my C6 Corvette and she was in the Z. And we got to tandem together and that sort of thing. So, I mean, we got to do...
You got that highlight moment that most people look for.
Exactly. Yeah. We got that out of the way, and that was really cool.
That's awesome.
We both enjoyed that. So,
Well, you used to have a shit ton of issues with your car. So
With the Corvette?
No,
Or
with the
the-
Z.
Okay.
Run through the most common issue you
I
had with
have
that car.
never told this story, and I'll tell you something crazy. I ran that car for the last year of its life, doing this weird thing where it would cut power.
Yeah.
For the first, well, it was really an odd situation. I really could never pinpoint when.
We
it
always
would
thought it
happen.
was like a fuel cut issue.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was so weird because like it was just one thing after the next. I never could. The hardest issue was I never could pinpoint when it was happening, and I could never diagnose it. But anyway, whenever I sold that car, whenever you sell something, you're like, well, it does have this issue, but I actually think it's just this.
Yeah.
Well, I did that, and then he was like, well, let's do that and see if that fixes it. Well, what it was the tail lights. It was the Depot LED eBay tail lights that were on the car when I bought it. Dude, I unplugged it, and that was the whole issue for the last year
entire time. Those janky. So like the whole eBay tail light assembly.
That was it. And the funny thing is Tony Jackson, probably 6 months before I sold it, he was like, man, it's probably those tail lights. And for some reason, I just never tried it.
Fuck?
Dude,
I guess it's I guess that would relate to the whole like left foot braking thing too. That's probably why.
But after
That's crazy.
After that happened, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. The amount of time and money and sensors I've swapped, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So
laps lost at the track trying to figure that fucking thing out.
I mean, I would still send it. It was just, like
just sitting there trying to slam the clutch to the floor all the time. So
that was a good car.
You ended up selling that car or I guess Alex ended up selling that car to GS Drift Giveaways.
Yep. Sure enough, it was we sold it to Heath up there, and he did his waffle for it, and Austin Mata in Prospect.
Oh, okay,
yeah. He won it, and I kind of told him what was going on, because the thing about it is whenever Alex was drifting it, we had to make some customization for it with the handbrake and the seat. And so there was some stuff that was
too. You don't want to see my seat rails the first time I had to make them.
Like shorter people, you have to do some things that you just have to do them. And so I had done some stuff for her to be able to drift it. And then so I messaged him whenever I found out he won it. I was like, hey, I built this car, but I'm just going to apologize. The seat and the handbrake. You might want to
some things I ain't proud of there.
Yeah. You might want to recheck those. There's some stuff going on there, but yeah, that whole process was amazing. They're great guys up there, and they took care of me. I took care of them, and it was all hunky dory. But I honestly really missed that car. Although I will say I drove it at the very last event it was at when Alex was driving it, and coming from the C6 back to the VQ 350Z thing, I was just on rev limiter for so long. I was like, if I were
like
to
you were
keep
the
this,
car.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if I were to keep this car, it probably wouldn't last another year, just because.
Yeah. Your driving is
at the max,
exceeded too far above the car.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem, why I went into a swap. But now I've kind of fucked myself. But that's a whole different story in its own. But
I'm very curious on how yours is going, because me and you we were kind of identical cars out there for a really long time, and especially after the paint jobs, and we and him both had almost the exact same paint with just flake.
Changed the flake in it, and that was it. Yeah.
Yep. So
your clear sucked on yours though. It was so. Dude. I still. You know how we were supposed to repaint the cars?
Right.
I still have that gallon of clear.
I still have your old flake.
No way.
Oh yeah. I still have
I'm
all
gonna
of
have to
flake.
get that from you.
I should have brought it. Yeah. I have your because it was purple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it.
I did purple and black for some reason. I don't know why I did the black. That was stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I did decent colors, I guess, but it was just it was like sandpaper when we were done. I don't know if it was because of the lack of clear or what was going on, but yeah, that was
it needed a few more layers of clear.
I think so. It looked good.
At least another.
It was a 10, 20 footer.
Yeah, of course. Which that's how every drift car should be.
Yeah, no kidding.